Hi guys, good morning. Today is construction day 61.
Yes, construction day 61. So it's the end of another work week, and I got a couple updates for you guys today. But first, we want to show you a video of the Bakang vegetable market and the municipal building and the park area. And then there was one very interesting tree there we want to show you guys as well. So that's going to be our start of our update today, and then we'll come up here to the house and give you guys the end of the week update. Let's get to it. So Wilma and I are down here in Bakang by the municipal building. So the Bakang Municipal is right there, and they too have a park very similar to Darwin. So you can see it's a very nice open space with walking paths and things like that. They have a large stage right over there, so you know, they can have concerts and talent shows and things like that. But take a look at this tree. Look at Wilma. Look at this tree. It's an acacia tree. That's the name of it. But I mean, just look how giant this tree is. There's the model showing off the tree. And there's several of these here in a row. So let me back up and just show you how giant this tree is. I mean, it goes up forever. It looks very healthy. And it's extremely large. But we're here in Bakang because we want to show you the vegetable market. We showed you the fruits the other day. Look at this tree. Look how large that tree is. And looks like another bell tower. So I'm going to take a walk over there. That might be the church, Catholic church for Bakang. I'm not sure. I'll take a walk over there. But yeah, before we show you all the vegetables, I wanted to show you these giant trees. And there's another one down there. You know, they're lined up all around here. And there's a couple more down there. Just something. So let's see what kind of vegetables they have today. So again, you know, Wilma and I are getting more used to buying daily fresh. I think I mentioned that in that previous video. So we stop by here usually in Bakang 2, 3, 4 times a week and just pick up whatever vegetables that we want. So like tonight, Wilma's making her famous mung bean soup, and my family knows all about that. It's delicious, very lamit, masarap. And so she's shopping, you know, just enough vegetables to make that soup. And you know, it always tastes fresh that way. But what I'm going to do is just take a walk. Now it looks like there's fruit mixed in here. So, but just look at the fresh vegetables. You got more vegetables, and there's all stands here, all lined up. Here's some fruit. Just look how colorful, very neat and clean, orderly. Here's a scooter coming up behind me. There goes a trike. But just take a look. Just every day they bring fresh vegetables and fruits to these stands, and people just stop by throughout the day, and it usually gets real busy around 4 p.m. I guess that's when people start getting off of work, and then they you know, they go pick up their daily either fruits or vegetables for the evening meal. So that's what I'm assuming. So it's pretty quiet here now because it's 2 o'clock, but it gets really bustling around 4 p.m. where people really start shopping. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, and we'll go down and talk to one of the vendors. All right, so while Wilma's shopping, I'll go ahead and just tell a little story about Maria. This is Maria. Say hello, Maria. She works at this stand. This is her mother's stand, and they've had this stand here in Bakang for 5 years. But they've actually sold vegetables for 15 years, 10 of which was in Mindanao. So she works 7 days a week at this stand. She's at work. She opens the store here at 6 a.m. and then she's responsible to close it at 8 p.m. So she works 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And she says her mom does relieve her here and there. Her mom's getting a little older. But she says she's always here at least 7 days a week, but sometimes her mom will open or close. So she doesn't have to be here the full 14 hours every day. But she did tell me, pretty much most of the week she does. So she sits here, it's very hot. You can see it's all open air, and there's no air conditioning or anything like that. Here selling vegetables, and typically what people do is they just pull up. So here's a couple vehicles here, and they just pull up alongside these stands and they get out. And like I said before, most Filipinos buy just enough for the day, or maybe just a couple of days. That's just the culture here. And from being from the US, working all the time, we'd always try to buy a week's worth of groceries, or sometimes we'd go and stock up at a discount store and try to get like 2 or 3 weeks worth of supply. That's foreign here. People buy fresh. A lot of homes have very small refrigerators or no refrigerators at all. And they buy daily. So this gets real busy here, usually around 4 p.m. A little after 4 p.m. gets very, very busy. And people just stop in and decide what they're going to have for dinner, and they pick up just enough. So Wilma and I are starting to settle in nicely, and that's what we're doing. So I figured I'd give you guys just a quick glimpse at a vegetable market, a typical vegetable market here in Negros Oriental. So Wilma, did you get all your vegetables for tonight's dinner?
Yes, I'm making mung beans.
Mung beans, that's my favorite.
With pork.
Mung beans with pork.
Yeah,
Can't
all
wait.
the vegetable.
All right, thanks, Maria. Okay, so update on the corner here. You can see they made some good progress. So they got that column poured, and they have that corner column poured as well. That happened yesterday. But what we did, and actually this came up in a couple of the comments about this back corner going up a little high. So you can see we did. So we took those suggestions. Wilma and I stood here on the inside as well as the outside. So we went up another 2 blocks here and 3 blocks here. So now this is, that's pretty high. That's got to be 8 foot at least across the back. So that's going to be the finished height. And then this will be, we went up, I believe they went up one yesterday under our direction, because originally it was a 3 down. We said go one more high. And then we said, well, while you're at it, just throw one more on there in that back corner. So we do have a 1 step down here, and then it goes straight to the pergola area. So, this is about, a little less than 7 feet. So, that's obviously higher than 7. And then that's like 8 foot high. So we feel real good with those heights. So some progress here in the corner, and no additional work here. They did go up those 5 or 6 courses, and we're letting that dry. And then we got to determine if we go up more or not, or just do a cement topping, because again, we want to make sure we have at least a 4 to 6 inch opening there to allow the smoke to go out. So more to come on that. All right, so as you guys know, they got the 2 spare bedrooms and the hallway here poured. So that's drying, obviously, and now they're working on 2 things. This is the spare bathroom. So remember, there's going to be a wall here, and you can see they're starting to prep the rebar for the wall. And there will be a doorway here in the center with a barn door. So it'll be a barn door that'll slide left and right to enter in. We didn't want to swing because we didn't want it to be any interruption with the sink or shower or toilet or anything. So there'll be a barn door here. So I think that's going to be a nice look. And then they're going to pour the bathroom today. So they have all the rough in done. So you can see the sink and then the shower. and then the toilet. So all the roughing is done. And now Jerry's going through and putting in the rebar and tying it together. And then they'll be putting in more gravel and then tamping the gravel, and they'll go ahead and pour that here at the end of the work week, today being Saturday. Again, they're working on this side of the house, and this bathroom will get poured today. Okay, so now here in the main living area, you can see they're starting to prep to get ready for a pour. So we got Jernell here bringing in more rock, and we have Dino starting to spread the rock out in this main area. The rough-in is done for the island, so they'll be putting the rock down and then tamping it. And you can see they removed the rebar. So once they retamp this down, they will put the rebar in place, similar to what Jerry's doing here. And you can see the gravel starting to go in for the floor. So they'll do the same here, which obviously will be next week. But again, they're starting, it looks like they're pouring from the right side of the house to the left side, which makes perfect sense because you know, they're still doing the scaffolding to pour the beams on the left side of the house. So as one team, you know, builds the forms to pour, you know, another team is working on you know, prepping the floor of the house and getting the concrete poured. So it looks like that's a real good approach. All right, so the ocean side of the pool here is starting to get backfilled in. So it's starting to look like the finished grade. So we're going to take this up 2 inches above the pipe, the blue pipe. So Richard is getting the dirt, like I said yesterday, down from here. There's lots of dirt and a lot more down there that we'll be taking. And he's bringing it up and just filling this in. So remember, not too long ago, just a few days ago, that was you know, a pretty deep hole. So he's working on his backside and filling it in. And then once he gets to the proper grade, we'll make sure that it just tapers ever so slightly to the rock wall. So you know, that's not that important right now, because we want to get this grade done so they can pour the coping. Then when he's done with this side, he'll tackle this side. So it's not as much dirt needed here. But then when he gets to the third side, you're going to see that there's a lot of backfill needed. So you can see that's like you know, 36 inches, maybe a meter, and that's a lot of area. So right where that guy's standing, Dino, that's pretty high. So that's all going to come down, and then there's quite a bit of dirt here as well. Some will be used for backfill for the fence, but we can bring some of that over. But then, of course, there's still a lot of dirt down there that Robert will be pulling up. So I haven't done a quick pan of the view in several videos. So a lot of you guys say never get tired of seeing the view, and we never want to take this for granted. So just take a couple seconds, and I'm standing here right at the front door, right here by the pool, and I see it's a beautiful day. And let me just do just a little zoom. So definitely we got to remember to stop and admire the view from time to time. So I can see why they worked on the right side first. One, it's smaller of an area but less complex. I'm going to try to explain this in, I think, 2 video clips. So you know, they've removed the majority of the forms, and now, you know, they're working on the forming up on that side. So one thing I want to go over is the beam here. That's about 20 inches high, that beam right there. So, and you can see the steel going across the purlin. So on top, and I'll use my finger, and actually I got a suggestion from one of you guys to point more to help, not just video. But on top of this beam right here, they're going to go, I believe, 2 to 3 hollow block high all the way across. And then what they will do is render that and have it flush on this outside with this beam, all flush. It all look like one large beam, though the beam itself, the structure, will be 20 inches, and then it will just be hollow block on top. And there'll be nothing on that hollow block. It's just to make the beam appear larger. But what that'll do is it'll cover the roof. So right on top of this red purlin will be the metal roofing, and then that hollow block will go up past it so you won't see it. And then the contractor tells me he'll put flashing in behind the hollow block, coming down, and then turn and then go out on top of that purlin, where then the metal roofing would be on top of that, so it's all watertight. So that's what's going to happen here, as well as this front beam. Now I'm going to try to explain that. It's the same principle, but the only difference is you can see the large beam, and then they're going to have a beam going across. I think my finger is messing up the focus. But then they will put hollow block on top of that beam to cover the purlin, which is that very top purlin that goes across. And it'll be the same principle. It'll be higher than that, and then they'll flash it, and then in the front they will render it and paint it. So this beam here will appear to be larger because it's going across with hollow block to make it appear larger. So here in the west corner, where the carport will start, which is right here at this column right here, which will equal the 2-meter overhang, and then here is the column that'll be even with the house. But now for the first time, you can see the metal poles that will also help support the roof going in place. So Felix is working on that. So he has one in place, and they started with some cement. And then you can see that they still need to do the footing for this pole. And then they have the third one here laying on the ground to go over there. So we'll have the back corner will be a cement that'll attach to the column there, the cement column. Then there'll be 3 metal, and they're 4 inches round. And then there'll be 2 concrete, which will be the backside structure support for this large carport. So one more time, it's a 2-meter overhang, and then it will go back 15.5 meters to that wall. So from that wall to the front of the carport, which is that 2-meter overhang, it's 15.5 meters. And then the carport itself is 3.5. So very happy to see that they're starting the structure of the carport. So just like the right side of the house, looking up, took quite a bit of time to form up and pour. Right, it was a couple of weeks. I think this is going to take a little bit longer because one, it's bigger and a little more complex. So they're working on the getting the scaffolding in place. But over there it was 3.5 meters and then 3 meters, so that's 7.5 meters out. Here from the main beam is going to go out 4.5 meters and 3.5 meters. So what's that, 8 meters? So this is an 8-meter span all the way out to the carport. So it's going to require more scaffolding and obviously more forming up. So this is going to take longer. So now it does make sense. Well, they started with the smaller side first, and then now they're tackling the large side. So it's going to be very similar in structure. It's just this side is larger. So they have that large tie beam to go across the front. Then it's going to drop down. There'll be another beam here, another beam going out. Then between the two columns, there'll be another tie beam, and then towards the back, there'll be a fourth tie beam. So this is pretty complex, but it's really the look of the house. It's the design of the house. It'll look similar to that side, just obviously larger. So I guess we'll find out together how long this is going to take. But I'm going to guess it's going to be at least 2 weeks to get this all in place. And then, hopefully they can get it all poured in one day. I believe they can. So we're probably looking at, 4 to 5 weeks. And that's just, just trying to be safe. It might be less, but I'm going to say 4 to 5 weeks before this is all poured and they start pulling down the forms.